It's Natalie Wieland here, and I just want to spend a few moments talking about how to bring out the best in a subject matter expert if you're filming them. Something I've been doing a lot over the years, and I've just got a few tricks and tips really on things that I use to help bring alive the subject matter expert. So the first thing is, it's not uncommon or human nature to want to really prepare, and what that often results in is a script. Now, it is very hard to be interesting, animated, engaging if you're simply reading a script. So what I often do with a subject matter expert is, I have no problem with the preparation. I don't think you can ever be too prepared. But what I like to do is more of an interview style. So what I often do is I place myself behind the camera and I ask questions. So if you were wanting to talk to a subject matter expert about any topic that they're an expert in, you watch what happens when you ask them questions. So the first scenario is if they use a script, they often sit in front of the camera and they start saying things like, "It is critical here at our organisation that everybody understands the rules regarding bullying and harassment." And it can become quite robotic. If I say to them, "Can you tell me why it's important to know the rules around and our policy around bullying and harassment?" Watch what happens. They often come alive and they'll tell a story and they'll say, "In our organisation, it's a key part of our culture and it's important that everybody understands that we value respect." And they often come alive. So what I do is I stand behind the camera and I ask the question. So first of all, a question is a really great way to bring a subject matter into a much more animated state. The second is, by me being behind the camera, I can do lots of and smile at the person, because it's so much easier in front of a camera if you're talking to a human. It feels a bit odd just talking to a camera, so by having that human interaction behind. But I have to say, my biggest trick with that is don't be doing as the person behind the camera, because you'll ruin the audio. So the first thing is, preparation is great, but more of a Q&A preparation. So the way I do that is I'll come up with a list of questions, often with the subject matter expert, because I mightn't be familiar with the area. Come up with the questions and say, "Get ready to answer these questions." The second thing is to be behind the camera, to really be that eye contact with the person so they can talk to you. That will make the world of difference. If you're filming with a phone, make sure you put your phone on landscape sideways, because if you do it the portrait, you'll always end up with these two black boxes either side, and it's really off-putting as someone who's viewing it. And then the other thing when you're talking with a subject matter expert is, do acknowledge to them or let them know that you can edit parts out quite easily. So just try and get this free-flowing discussion where they can really bring out, so what are our bullying and harassment policies here? Why are they important? Where would I access them? Who do they apply to? That's the kind of thing to be asking those kind of questions. And that will really help the subject matter expert really give an authentic explanation of what it means in your organisation. So that's just a few tricks when you're using and working with subject matter experts and trying to develop really innovative content. And I suppose the last thing I'll say is I want you to think about when you watch the news on TV. We tend to have a few moments where there is the anchor, the person who tells us a story, but it's not long before we move and we start seeing some actual footage of something. So that's another trick. Don't always just have the subject matter expert as the whole time throughout the video. That's all you see. Think about putting some, what we would call BRoll, some other footage. So if they're talking about in your organisation, maybe put some video of your organisation or some people working. And if you don't have any ability to make those kind of videos, which can be just with your phone, stock footage from somewhere like Envato, just put that over the top of your video when the person's talking in the background, so it's not just that person being viewed the whole time. And once you start learning these tricks, you'll end up with some really exciting, interesting content. And what will happen is you'll become very agile in your organisation and be able to regularly update the content rather than just say we made our OH&S training 10 years ago, that's all it is. You just keep using it. You can start thinking about it being a bit more agile and updating things and adding stories and bringing it alive. So every year that your staff do it, it's something a little bit more interesting. So always happy to help. Always reach out to us if want to chat about any of these things, because I'm always up for a chat about how to make videos more interesting. Thanks so much.